A disoriented Donald Trump was caught lying for no reason about just about everything, including most recently the California wildfires. Donald Trump and Melania were in Washington, D.C. yesterday, at least in part, to visit the casket of former President Jimmy Carter lying in state. And Trump took some questions at some point, I guess after, maybe before, and just lying about stuff for no real reason, which is really going to be, I believe, the theme of this forthcoming presidency. Trump with 35,000 lies in his political career, which is just, it's sort of like when someone says, oh, you know, the universe is 4 billion years old and we struggle to really understand, or is it 13 billion? Now, is it Earth is 4 billion, universe 13? Now, I don't remember the numbers. It doesn't matter because as humans, it's difficult to conceive of these numbers. The number of lies Trump has told is a difficult number to conceive of. And asked about the fires in California, Donald Trump starts to talk about Beverly Hills is just burning down. The fires are not affecting Beverly Hills. Why is Trump saying this? We just don't know. It's sort of like, why does Trump call it the 1917 flu? Or why did Donald Trump change the path of a hurricane on a map with a Sharpie? Unforced lies, but he just keeps telling them.
Tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just...
Yeah. The big homes in Beverly Hills are completely fine for now. Beverly Hills has not been decimated. And it's almost like PTSD from the COVID era. When you have a crisis, you need a leader with a steady hand, with accurate information, because without agreeing on the facts, you can't possibly solve the problem. And this is just a totally fabricated lie. If you hear Beverly Hills, oh my goodness, I have family in Beverly, they're fine. There's nothing happening in Beverly Hills right now. There are no fires that have reached Beverly Hills to this point, unaffected by the fires. Trump continuing to talk about the fires, and I guess he's worried about the insurance companies is his big concern.
This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water, and yet they have. The water comes from, you know where? Up north, and it comes down at levels. They give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water.
Barrels of gallons.
They have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him. When he was governor, we worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem.
The insurance companies, people are homeless, people have lost pets, and it's who is going to think of the insurance companies? They are going to just have a terrible problem, as they, I am sure, will do everything they can to deny every penny of claims that they can get away with. Trump, as is often the case recently, somehow it all comes back to water, big, powerful water, and Trump just obsessed with water.
On California, Mr. President, during the pandemic, you often said that you didn't believe that you should bail out blue states that you believe were being mismanaged. Given your criticism of Governor Gavin Newsom, are you willing to work with him, and do you believe that federal aid should be provided to California for as long as it takes?
Well, it's very sad, because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish.
Tiny little fish.
Which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that.
As is usually the case, significant confusion sort of wrapped around tiny little kernels of truth when it comes to Trump talking about anything that's happened in the past or potentially will happen in the future. So just unforced lie after lie. And then finally, Trump asked about President Joe Biden's pardon of Liz Cheney, specifically to protect her from Trump, interestingly enough. And Trump just says, it was ridiculous.
Cheney, Biden pardoned Liz Cheney. What's your message for President Biden? He said he
Oh, I thought it was ridiculous that he did that, but we have more important things to talk about. Liz Cheney she lost in the Republican Party, as you know, in her state, by the biggest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress. She lost by like 42 points. Nobody's ever lost like that. So I don't care about Liz Cheney. I care about these people.
There you go. Doesn't care about her, but of course, he is the reason why Biden felt he needed to levy a pardon. So if you get your information from Donald Trump, which many people do because they're part of the cult, and eventually even non-Trump supporters would expect I can get just basic facts from Trump, you would have come away from this series of questions and answers believing that if you have family in Beverly Hills, if you have friends in Beverly Hills, it's been decimated. 90% of it has just been burned down. Of course, that's not the case. And it is really a sort of hearkening back to Trump's COVID press conferences where he talked about everything open by Easter of 2020, mind you, injecting bleach and the entire thing. However, if you thought Trump's perspective on the fires is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, just wait until you see what broader MAGA is up to. We've seen many high-profile data breaches this year, raising serious concerns about personal information security, and most alarming, National Public Data announced a major breach potentially impacting nearly every American. It exposed 2.9 billion records, including names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, social security numbers, and hackers released all of this online for free. But I feel secure thanks to Aura, one of our sponsors. Aura monitors your personal data. This includes your social across billions of data points, including dark web and public records. It will let you know if there's an identity theft risk, and they provide up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Aura offers additional safety features like real-time breach alerts, a password manager, and much more. I don't want to leave myself or my family vulnerable to these data breaches. If you don't want to either, go to aura.com/Pacman to try 2 weeks free. That's enough time to see if your personal data is already exposed. The link is in the description.